And along with me, our Vice Chairman, Mr. Raman Sir, is joining to host this program. I would require, now everybody knows measurement importance. I think famous Peter Drucker says, what you can measure, you can manage. This is not only applicable for our manufacturing process industries, it is applicable for our personal life too. When you talk about measurement, the temperature measurement plays a vital role in foundry industries. And today's speaker will talk about that. And I would now request our Vice Chairman, Mr. Raman Sir, to give a formal welcome note.
Thank you, Senthil. Thank you, Mr. Prasad, sir. Good afternoon, fellow Foundrymen. Senthil, I am audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yes, thank you. It is my immense pleasure to welcome you all for this technical paper presentation, where the IIF Chennai chapter is doing marvelous job every week, 2 week on online and 2 week on physical presentation. So in that way, today also we are going to have a very interesting subject on measurement of molten metal temperature, where the temperature measurement is the fundamental requirement for any foundry to finish the product or to complete the product. We will be doing many measurement types, where the earlier stage, the rhodium wire type, then tip type, then optical type. All those things we came across for the past 30 years. But measuring the temperature in the furnace, in the primary melting furnace, is still a challenge. Whether the measured temperature is correct or not, can we take any decision to tap the metal or to add an alloy for the required combination? Those things, the molten metal temperature plays major role. So here today, Mr. Prasad is going to talk about the non-contact pyrometer for foundries, which is an investment to drive quality, profit, and profitability. So that is a topic he is going to talk. It is indeed required for the today's scenario. We must understand such a technology so that we can prove our product without any issue. So on behalf of IIF, I welcome Prasad Venkatasamy, AMETEK Land Business Development and Technical Service Manager, India and Middle East, for this August gathering. And further, I request him to take over the forum. Before that, Mr. Senthil will introduce him with that profile. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Once again, I welcome fellow Foundrymen, and it is indeed a great pleasure and honor for me to introduce today's speaker. Mr. Prasath Venkatasamy is working as Regional Business Development and Technical Manager for Middle East and India for the last 12 years in AMETEK Land Instrument Business. He has got overall industrial experience of 18 plus years in the optical and analytical instrumentation field. He worked with many regional foundry customers for the last 10 years and developed various temperature measurement solutions, which has benefited small to large accounts in terms of quality. Has developed a unique solution to minimize the usage or replace the dip thermocouples using AMETEK Land best spoken Cyclope 055L liquid metal temperature measurement non-contact air optical pyrometer. I was told that they have sold more than 500 instruments in the last 3 years in various foundries across India, and they have been able to support all the instruments as of now. I would request now Mr. Prasath Venkatasamy to take over the forum. Mr. Prasath, the forum is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Senthil, and thank you, Mr. Raman sir, for giving a detailed introduction. And I would really thank all these IIF Chennai as well as the fellow members who joined today's presentation. On behalf of AMETEK Land, India, with me, myself, Mr. Jagadish, who is a regional manager, and my team also joined here. So we are really happy and pleased to be, presenting this particular topic for all the Foundry members presented here. So hope you can see my presentation now and audible.
Yeah, you're audible and presentation is more visible. You can start.
Yeah. Thank you so much once again for all the Foundry members. And today's topic, as we discussed, this is going to be a very interesting topic, as Mr. Sendil and Mr. Raman reiterated. More than 10 years, I particularly myself involved in various foundries across India and in the region, now in the Middle East. So we have developed and supported many foundries to develop and provide a solution to measure the accurate temperature measurements, which really supported in many foundries from the existing traditional way of doing measurements. And this really supported for improving the quality, and of course, it's also profited and then in many aspects. So this is what today we are going to present in detail. Just looking at the manufacturer, from manufacturer point of view, as you know, there are a lot of many manufacturers are available doing such temperature measurements, and who we are from AMETEK Land, we have a long history. This AMETEK Land is basically founded 1947 in Suffield in UK near Manchester, where it's traditionally a kind of iron ore field. They have been using these basic iron ores to develop the kind of castings, and even today the purest form of stainless steel castings are 99.9% grade stainless steel is made from Suffield in UK. So AMETEK acquired Land Instruments. Basically, Land Instruments is a family-owned business doing temperature measurements for 75 years now. They acquired this company. AMETEK acquired Land Instruments in 2006, and it's transformed into main OEM business. So we are now today the premium supplier of product, various applications, not only for steel or steel making process. We do also offer product related to glass making and minerals, hydrocarbon. So where we have a different verticals and a lot of niche application solutions. At present, we are doing more than 30 million business, around 150 employees all over the world. We have a facility in Granfield, UK, and also all over the world. And we have offices in India, and which is headquartered in Bangalore. And we have a regional office in Chennai, Jamshedpur, and Mumbai. And we are about to open another regional office in Western region to support all our customers. Under the roof, so the main capability of the facility located in Granfield, where you have an R&D center, complete manufacturing facility, and calibration and service supports all under one roof. And we have an internationally renowned accreditation laboratory. In fact, it was the first accredited laboratory in terms of UCAS, which is equivalent to ISO 17025-2017 standard currently. So we established this particular certification model for temperature measurements. And we are proud now we are running more than 45 years of accreditation. And we do have other accreditation where you can see this ISO and IES EX certified. And this was annually maintained by kind of well-known auditing companies like CIRA. And also the best advantage is we have our own design capabilities in terms of software and hardware, and also special machining capacity, which means complete product manufacturing happening under the one roof with the software capabilities. So just talking about the foundry temperature measurements, traditionally, we are, I don't need to explain because you are all the fathers of foundry techniques. So from my knowledge, what I gathered from from my last many years of experience working with various type of foundries. So traditionally, knowing the temperature measurement for the foundries, very critical. As you know, the finished product is completely dependent on the temperature measurement. So it is very, very critical. So the locations where we normally target, of course, while melting in the furnace, and when you transfer the metal from furnace to ladle, and then of course when we do this molding, and of course even we do the heating process, where the temperature measurements are normally being taken. So we have offered almost, our solutions are like traditionally talking. These all the locations where current thermocouple methods, either wired method, now you have a kind of digitalization when developed. You have a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi enabled temperature measurements with the display. So where you can able to use thermocouples, and of course you need to use consumables, which means ceramic to platinum type, different type of thermocouple tips are available. So we estimate more than 95 to 98% of the foundries traditionally been using still this thermocouple methods, and these are the kind of examples we can. But you may be having even much better idea on the traditional way of measurement temperature. But this is what traditionally been taken in foundries for temperature measurement. So when you talk about this primary method, we all agree that currently thermocouple stands as a primary. But talking about the primary method, there are also a lot of challenges with the process. It is not only about consumable, but I think even we have seen that myself personally visited more than 300 to 400 foundries in my last 10 years, and worked with the foundries. And while discussing with them, the main challenge in terms of feedback what from customers, basically the regular consumables for making a particular cost, it is going to be a considerable amount of cost. So basically maintenance is little high, recurring maintenance. So any thermocouple or tip consumables could not be used repeated basis because of its nature, and you have a resistant challenge because it is a thermocouple technique, basically two dissimilar metals, and then when you contact, the resistance changes, the temperature measurement changes. This is a kind of scientific way of analyzing. This is what it's been shown. Even when we try to demonstrate, when we measure two thermocouples, calibrated thermocouples, the difference between those two calibrated in same point, I think, which is really high. So this is not even sometimes not acceptable to the foundries. So it is one of the point where we really wanted to propose our solution. It's a kind of challenge. And then safety. So we are now moving manual method to automation method. When you talk about automation, industry 4.0, now even digitalization techniques, and we are talking now industry 5.0s. So it is, of course, obviously, safety is a major concern for any foundryman and any foundries. So when you do this safety operations and costings. So as I mentioned, repeatability issues when you compare two thermocouples, which is we are talking 10 degree, but even from my experience, I have seen even 30-degree difference between two calibrated thermocouples at a time. Yeah, because of the penetration or maybe slack conditions, etc. So that is really going to be a big challenge. Yeah. Also, it's very sensitive, as I mentioned. So immersion, people to people, the immersion length can vary, and also that can cause some temperature measurement challenges. So this is where AMETEK Land developed dedicated solutions, and which has been present in the market for more than 15 years. So when I joined AMETEK Land business in India as a service and technical support manager, so this is what first I have seen. I come from southern part of India, where I did my education in Coimbatore. So I was so curious, and I have some idea about the costings. So while I was doing my education, so I knew the challenges in terms of the process. So then when I joined the company, I came to know about this temperature measurements, and I really wanted to position the product where it was existing. So with the dedicated design to support this Foundry liquid metal temperature measurements, which is going to be a kind of complement. I could say it is going to be a direct replacement method for the traditional thermocouple methods being used in the foundries. Okay, so this is where AMETEK land, and also it has a various offerings in terms of portable to fixed pyrometers and also various thermal imaging techniques. So we position three major products for foundry customers. So one is Cyclops, it's a portable thermometer, which is made up of a dedicated wavelength where it can able to see through the challenges in terms of smoke or fumes, or you can say the gases or the visible challenges, which can able to take care, so that you can able to get 100% energy from the surface, and it can able to give you the right temperature. Of course, these pyrometers needs to be calibrated, or I can say compensated in terms of emissivity, the radiance, with respect to the calibrated thermocouple. That will be done in only once in lifetime. So normally then you can use for the pyrometers for 10 years. The good thing is these pyrometers been used more than now 15 years, even 20 years old pyrometers still used in many foundries in India. So we are happy to support them. And when I joined, and then we started developing for the portable. And we do also came across the requirement for online for particular in a market or even in the auto there was a requirement. So we developed auto where we have demonstrated and designed with respect to the customer requirements suitable to this application. So this is called auto pour. It has a special algorithm designed for the steam, whether it's a bottom pouring or it's the ladle, semi-automatic ladle pouring. So we developed, and I can show you a couple of examples. And again now, so we also put latest fifth generation online pyrometer. It's a completely digital, Ethernet based. So where you can able to see these pyrometers mounted on the furnace instead of operator can, normally when they go for taking manual measurements using even optical portable pyrometers, we can mount these spot pyrometers at a distance, which can connect it to your induction furnace mechanism or your power generation systems. We can able to take the 4 to 20 milliampere, integrate with the PLC, so we can do the process optimization, which also been demonstrated. So these are the three major category products we develop and which we wanted to present today. So as I mentioned, Cyclops thermometer, which is best spoken, high accurate industrial portable thermometer. So we did the developments. If you can look at the body of the thermometer, so very easy, very simple to use, which has a protection for these kind of furnace atmospheres. And in India, we have developed, when I started working with the foundries, the first question it has come, okay, this is good, it's reading perfect, but how we are going to transfer the data to our applications? So then, yes, so then we started working with our Indian partners, a couple of vendors, and we are happy to quote here. We have been associated with ACI automation company, and they have developed a kind of various models which supports the data can transfer from our device to these kind of larger displays directly, which can able to communicate to the customer computers, even data logging, even ERP systems. We have made advanced integration. So the complete automation we have developed to replace the existing thermocouple system. So from manual thermocouple to data transfer to the system. So we have made complete replacement of the techniques. So this is one of the best model. This is the model. We have sold more than 500 units in India, and it's being maintained and it's working absolutely well. Just to give you the overview of the product. So when you look at the pyrometer, you can see, of course, there is a front lens where you can see the display, and all just you need to just look through the view, and you can just trigger the button, then you can able to see the temperature. This is not going to take more than 3 millisecond or 4 millisecond. It's a very instantaneous, and you can take multiple measurements. And of course, you can able to compare with the thermocouples. So this is what normally we do when we do the demonstration. We ask customer to place these thermocouples, calibrated thermocouples, and we just measure the temperature, and we adjust the emissivity constant. And once we set up the emissivity constant, that is going to be the constant factor for that particular metal composition. Then you can able to compare. So within a day, after a couple of measurements, operator will gain the confidence, and we have proven most of the cases the temperature accuracy within 5 degrees. So starting from cast iron to gray iron to even SG and various grades, even for stainless steel grades. So we have even did this demonstration, and supplied, of course, is working. It is going to be within 5 degrees temperature measurement. By knowing the Foundry application, where it is going to be high temperature, and operators always having hand gloves. So we designed dedicated thermal jacket, protective jackets. Yeah. So this is something like we developed for our product to be safer and long run condition in the Foundry. This has been developed, and even we have a protection mechanism for the lenses, where you see, yes, of course, there is a splashes, or even we can see when need to go closer. The main advantage of this model, we can able to operate up to 5 to 6 meter distance. When you can able to see the metal or the object clearly, you can able to see very much in a distance, and it can give you very accurately. And of course, it has a USB. You can directly transfer the data, and even optionally, we can use big displays. You can transfer the data directly to the display, and which can be connected to your computer. So this all the one-to-one complete solutions we have made. Example, as I mentioned, so how a Bluetooth display can be connected in. So the instrument is connected by a Bluetooth. Yeah. So where we have this LED displays, or in segment displays, we developed 8-digit displays. So you can able to get instant temperature. When you can able to measure within 3 to 5 milliseconds, as soon as you trigger the button, it is not going to take less than a second to display the temperature up to 40-meter distance. Even we have gone close to 40 to 50 meters in some of the applications, where the pouring line ends little further. Even we can able to show the temperature, which is very important for the floor people, particularly the quality person or operation team. So when they want to see what is the exact temperature measured by the operator at the shop floor. So this was one of the point, and you can able to set the alarm limits, so that when the alarm limits reached, let's say in the furnace, or even pouring, when you see first mold to last mold, you can set up the temperature minimum limits, and it can able to give an indications. So using routers, of course, you can connect Wi-Fi if you have Wi-Fi capabilities. Nowadays, we are talking about modernization. There are a lot of foundries have this Wi-Fi capacity, so we can able to integrate directly to the PC without downloading any wiring system. We can do via Wi-Fi. Of course, we do have developed the Android mobile apps where you can use mobile devices to view the data, to log the data. As I mentioned, there are main benefits of our portable devices. Just talk about on free. Yes, it's going to be a major cost saving. It's a one-time investment. There is no consumables except the 9-volt batteries. Yeah, and so as discussed, main benefits of our Cyclops pyrometer, or talking about the Foundry's perspective, mainly it is going to produce a major cost saving benefit. So the major cost benefits because of no thermocouple tips is something like we are we are not quoting, of course, based on our last 10, 12 years of experience. We have seen the customer when they started using and they have given the feedback. We have a lot of case studies made, various regions across India. They quoted that this is the consumables, and after using your device, month 1, month 2, month 3, and of course now, what is the benefit which we are getting. This is being presented by the customers. So absolutely no consumables. And very fast and accurate temperature measurement, which is very important to control, especially in the furnace. We all know the superheating. I don't need to explain. So the challenges in terms of overheating or superheating issues, which will affect the metallurgical composition, of course, which leads quality control and mainly rejections. It's also going to help directly for the foundrymen. And of course, we have seen indirect benefits, particularly talking about energy saving. So when we try to do the automatic control of furnace closed loop systems using online or even portable at some point, so you can able to control the power or energy which is feeding continuously in kilowatt capacities to the furnace, which can be controlled. So there is a kind of definite cost saving in terms of electricity, and we can avoid overheatings. The mainly operator safety, we always re-insist on that, because our instrument can be used at the safest distance, and of course there won't be no metal spillage, which is a kind of major challenge in this kind of process. It can be avoided. So more than 500 instruments, even within a short span of 3 to 5 years, we have achieved this. This is an example. So where you can see at the distance where the operators are standing, they have to go closer. You can able to measure the temperature at the distance. And this is something we are talking about 2 to 3 meter itself. And even with this kind of surface, you can be at very far. Still, you can able to get this accurate temperature, because so our device does not have any focusing. It is always follow the parallel beam. So the distance is not going to affect either it's 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter. As long as you can able to see just a 5 mm of metal space, which is clear, you can get the temperature measurements. And this is being given with the wrist strap, where accidentally the instrument can fall down. We have a big wrist strap over the neck, even in the hand, and there is a heat protection jacket, which has been offered along with the system. So very, very simple 9 voltage Duracell, or maybe even equivalent 600 milliampere capacity battery. You can use this, and it's very instant. You can do on off, and where you can able to see there are 4 different temperature measurements possible at a time when you trigger this. So the major measurements we consider melt master. There is a special melt master mode which has been designed for this application. So most of the foundries use basically melt master. It takes almost 66 to 66 readings in a single press within a couple of microseconds. It takes 66 readings and it's averaging, and then it gives a one value, which is what it's mainly is a kind of best spoken algorithm used in this device to match your thermocouple values, which is very well proven. And this is where we are committing the temperature difference is not more than 5 degrees, provided like, of course, there may be a kind of regular calibration intervals, yearly ones. So these are all maintenance point of view. So we have been told that these instruments are very consistent over many years, and that is the main reason. So for many of the foundries to stop the thermocouples, and directly you can do this instrument in case if you don't want to use any big displays, or even while using the displays, and every day you want to take some temperature measurements and loggings, basically logging history, log history. You can able to see heat wise, time wise, or location wise temperature data in a kind of Excel sheet. It is possible. You can able to log up to 9,999 readings and then it will come on FIFO basis, can able to support you for detailed post analysis of your quality of the castings. Again, as I mentioned, the best accuracy, reliable, and safety. There are options of Bluetooth and wireless USB connectivity, 10,000. So the focus can be up to 5 meters, as I explained. So there are multiple measuring modes, lot of value-added protections to safely operate the instrument and keep it for longer run. While talking about the measurements, yes, we can do this in the furnace, and while furnace to pouring, even when you transfer the ladle, particularly after the treatment before you pour, you can still take the measurement. These are the locations wherever you can measure the thermocouple, and even where you cannot able to measure the thermocouple, particularly on the stream bottom pouring, ladle pouring, you can use this device to get the temperature. As you can see at the distance, where one of the foundries, yes, this is very much possible. And while particularly at the pouring, the main challenge, whatever so far I have here, for measuring first mold to last mold, to see the temperature gradient. Of course, we don't want to pour at lower temperature, as Mr. Sindhil and Mr. Raman particularly mentioned. It's very critical to have a finished product. When you pour the temperature under, of course, even higher, but this particular castings, when particularly the pouring time increases, or even the way you are pouring, because of the process, we want to control the last mold temperature a certain range. So this instrument can help to track first mold to last mold, which you cannot able to do by thermocouple. And this is the best example, another way where you can see this investment casting. We have sold 100, 200 instruments on investment casting applications, and it's running. So where you can able to take the temperature measurements. All we need just a 5 mm of target, you can able to measure this temperature. And again, so you look at the value proposition what we are giving. So the instrument will be supplied in a carry case, rugged carry case. Operator can able to keep very safely once they are measured. It is not a kind of laboratory. It is designed for the industrial, the harsh atmospheric conditions. And we provide the thermal jacket. And there is an industrial rubber casing even in case of instrument drops out. And there is a cross body sling or the complete body where you feel operator is it's trying to using or finding difficulty to use. You can always use this cross body sling. These are all kind of items we supply along with the instrument. So when you look at this particular Cyclops 055L for Foundries, so we made standard items. So the rubber bumper, and you are going to get this thermal heat jacket, yeah, by default. And in case, even if you want to have the protection case, like we offer as optional, and also for cross body sling. So based on the request, we offer as an optional. So the next topic, as we discuss the second line of item, we are offering for Foundries for particularly temperature measurements is called auto pour system, basically auto pour thermometer. So why? So we have to call this as auto pour. So most of the process where you see the bottom pouring, the steam thickness is going to vary from one size to other, and it will always have a challenge to measure thermocouple at this location. So instead what we do, so we measure in the Thundis, so where the temperature is being transferred from furnace to ladle to Thundis, we will make the top measurement, and we may not have the actual measurement at the time of pouring into the mold. This instrument will help you to track the temperature from the metal is being poured into the mold from first to last. So again, the same way of the portable, but it's been automatic. We have a complete protective enclosures with the water or air cooled. You can use vortex nitrogen purging, and the device sensor is inside. We can connect this display where it has a small computer which will do this all the processing, and specially designed melt master, liquid melt master algorithm. So it can able to give you the timing, let's say for any castings, bottom pouring castings. So when you define the timing, we can able to take continuously over the timing for 5 seconds to 10 seconds, or even minutes. So based on the casting types, we can able to track entire temperature data and we can able to compile. So this is something also been, demonstrated and installed in India. So we use the device which can go from 600 to 1600 degree, and we have another model where it can go from 1000 to 2600. So there are two models. We can offer whichever way the customer is requesting, because this is shown as a general, but we can also offer for a higher temperature range. So there is a processor which is processing the signal from the sensor, and it can able to give you instantaneously. And of course, we can connect this jumbo display, whatever we have seen, which is basically this going to be a 4 to 20 milliampere display, and then it can able to give accurate temperature measurements. Yeah, and we have a dedicated software where you can able to see the profile. So over the each molding, when you start, the temperature will rise, and then it goes to the drop. So you can see the kind of pattern for each mold, how the temperature consistency has been maintained. So we can able to log the data and we can able to provide. So this we have done in many foundries, and we deployed our team, product development and engineering team, presented over here. We developed, and then we designed this software, customized software for these applications. If you look at the overview, as I explained, yes, these devices can be connected at 3 to 4 meter distance, and it can be focused to the stream. Even when the stream width varies from at the beginning of the pouring, at the end, we always know when the operator trying to control the tap hole. So normally the stream width will vary. So we can able to track this, and then we can able to provide the consistent measurement from the beginning to end. So this can plot over the temperature, and it can take mean value or max value or time-based functions, basically auto pour function. It can able to give you the temperature on the display, and you can able to generate alarm using relay, and even you can connect to the customer PLC for data logging. Apart from that, you can also do the data logging in the computer, which basically a kind of optional items. So there are examples how we have installed. So this kind of setup where semi-automatic ladle pouring mechanisms, it's focused on the steam on the spout, where we can able to take each mold temperatures. And of course, traditionally, you can see the disametric line bottom pouring. We can measure the steam temperature accurately. So when you talk about online measurements, particularly for the pouring on the steam liquid metal temperature measurements, so definitely it's going to help in operating cost and improved casting quality. So as I mentioned, the actual temperature measurement, most of the cases impossible on the steam, where we can able to do this. And always non-contact is, it will not interrupt the process, which is always operating in a non-contact at safe distance. So we ourselves do the survey. So when customer calls us for demo or even post-order processing, so we do the survey and we fix the location, and we work with the customer to ensure the instruments are kept in a safer place for longer run conditions. Yeah. These all devices are operating in a special wavelength, which has been again dedicated for this metal applications, for the metal radiations we chosen with respect to the temperature band, and these are all optimized to minimize the errors due to the change of the grade or the steam width. These all the conditions. So we have changed, we have adopted these techniques. There is no major installation conditions. Once you choose the location, once align and focus, it should be for long term. And of course, periodic maintenance needed, though we give the purging. So something like 3 months or 6 months once, we normally do this basic maintenance. As I mentioned, analog output can be taken for process control and automation, closed loop automation. And the complete profile and graphical information can be seen for all pourings in the screen. And continuous measurements, of course, these models are also being used in the furnace, where you can able to use and mount it and focus to the furnace. And when you want to have the temperature, we have given a kind of trigger signal where operator just can press the button in the pouring disk. He can have a button, trigger it, and he can see the temperature, and you can control, or even we can keep on the automatic, so that as soon as the temperature reaches, you can give the threshold to cut off. So this all those things can be done. And again, it's designed very robust industrial applications. As you all know, I mentioned during the introduction the three methods and three different types of products. And this is the 5th generation product. So it's a completely digital. We have a power over Ethernet, and this device can be installed online on the furnace and can be connected to the computer directly. You can have a live streaming of video where you can able to monitor the furnace conditions. Operator wants to see even quality, even operation team wants to see and distance. Even you can take the networking Ethernet connections to the computer and network, and you can able to see remotely with the monitor, large monitors. You can able to see the live video from the camera. You don't need to go for alignment. You don't need to go for the location. You can see from the remote. This is the kind of 5th generation Pyrometer, and you can do Modbus TCP/IP communication for the data transfer. You want to take, a particular mold temperature. You can able to call for. We have a Modbus programming. You can able to take the temperatures. As I mentioned, you can see where this particular device was mounted at 10-meter distance on the soft floor. So it is focused on the metal surface where you can able to see the temperature in the screen. This is a web interface in the computer where you can able to see periodically, or even we can able to make it live. So continuous monitoring can be done remotely. This is the best advantage when you have an integrated inbuilt video camera webcam in the device. So again, so both the options, local as well as you can also have in remote display for easy verify alignment purpose in case of any changes. Yeah. So as you can see here, very conventional, and we have a sapphire window. Sapphire is a kind of very hardest equivalent of diamond. It can damage only against diamond. Even we could see this device, there is a sputtering. Still, this sapphire window can't broke. So it is a robust, very reliable, and it will not affect because of any dust fume. So it will be a real protective optics for these kind of sophisticated instruments. So as I mentioned, yes, it's a kind of technology is being developed. Over the many years of experience from LAN, and this is a kind of remarkable product. And we have been supplied many instruments for various applications, including this kind of online temperature measurements. So again, yes, we made structures based on the application. This instruments is installed to take a live temperature measurements. These are a couple of examples we want to quote. Yes, so similar way, online auto pour pyrometer for the 5th generation, the spot which we are doing, similar way, which can be complemented. The auto pour pyrometer, the mainly developed for bottom pouring, where you can have automatic pouring mechanisms and the stream. And this pyrometer can be used for online to complement our cyclopes, where you can always install this online thermometer for live temperature measurements. So complete processing will be done inside the pyrometer. You don't need to have a separate processor where you can see a sensor and processor. So this is the 5th generation. You have an inbuilt processor inside the pyrometer, and just simply you need to connect to the power, and you can take 4 to 20 milliampere. Yeah. So it's online, closed loop we can able to make. And again, same benefits we are going to talk on thermocouple consumables, operator safety, and very simple to install as it has integrated web camera. You can easily see this from remote while doing alignment, etc. It will be very easy, and wide temperature range. And we just launched some higher temperature measurements, which can go up to 3000 degrees for special alloys, for titanium, or even some kind of special alloys applications, vacuum chambers, particularly when we are talking about very high strength steel applications. There are some requirements coming from customers for higher temperature range. So we extended this current models up to 3300 degrees. We launched recently. So there are various models and various temperature ranges are available. Yeah. When we talk about this all product capability by having 75 years of experience and expertise, we just only sell the product, and we really care the products which we have been installed or supplied over the last 30 years. So when I joined, yes, of course, this was the main requirement from the customers in India, particularly. So we developed our state-of-art one roof repair and calibration facility in Bangalore, which then been accredited to NABL, ISO certified. So where we can do 100% repair capability in India itself. So then we extended the calibration facility to Jamshedpur to support the Eastern Belt. So to handle major key account customers like Tata, Jindal, and all the customers, and of course a lot of Foundry members. And Bangalore, we have this particular facility. So it was originally designed to support our local customers. And again, so Ahmedabad, where we have more than 250 instruments, we are about to launch the service center. It is under process. So the main point of requirement really to support our instrument base, whichever is being supported, installed in India and working since many years. This is one of the reasons. So we not only just supply the product and we demonstrate, also we provide necessary support to maintain the instrument for a long time. Yeah. So with that, I would like to thank once again the Indian Institute of Foundrymen Chennai chapter and the dignified chair members arranged this presentation even with the short notice. So we have made small video which I would like to share if you have 2 minutes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
As I mentioned, these are the different type of applications where you can see and where and all the temperature measurement points are critical. We can always use this. Example, the portable pyrometer at the furnace, which is meant for 1000 to 2000 degrees. And while metal is being poured, of course, we can able to measure the steam, and even we can do by auto pour at fixed locations, and even we can do by the spot measurements. Just we made a kind of animated video which was typically even some couple of furnaces where you have a liquid steam, direct liquid steam. You can of course use the thermocouple, but when you use the thermocouple, we know the challenges in terms of penetration. So this pyrometer can read instantly within 3 to couple of microseconds. And even there are applications we have developed for ladle to semi-automatic lines, and you can always use the cyclones to verify first mole to last mole temperatures. This is fully developed, designed product for this kind of applications. And of course, we have huge reference list and case studies. So we are always happy to share and in case any requirement for reference. And with that, once again, I would like to thank all the value members for giving this opportunity. And in case of any questions, now we are open for the questions, so we can discuss the questions now.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad. And I would now request people to post their question either in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and one by one and ask question. Mr. Navdeep, you had one question during the program. You have asked a question. Mr. Prasad, during the discussion, there is a question from Mr. Navdeep Singh. He has asked, can the data be stored to cloud?
Yes. Yes, of course. This is a kind of very interesting question from Navdeep. Yeah. So basically, when I mentioned, if suppose you have a capability to transfer the data to the PC or even your customer networking system, yes, we can always put this data into cloud. Yeah. So maybe yes, you need to adopt the protocol. There are many networking capabilities are available. You can use this data into cloud for remote access. Yeah.
Mr. Prasad, there is one more question from Mr. Santosh Deshpande. Is molten aluminum measurement possible?
Oh yes. Okay. So when we talk about the metal, when we are talking about the foundry, yes, I think we would have thought of including this complete solution, but considering a time constraint. So what we really do it. So basically, we limited with this liquid metal temperature measurements, and of course, yes, we have a dedicated product for liquid aluminum measurements, and which is being designed, and it's also been used for replacing the thermocouple at various locations. Yes, so we have a product which can be used for this liquid aluminum measurements and even billet, extrusion, and flat products. Yeah.
There is a question from Vishwa Mohanty. Thank you, sir. What will be the price for the instrument? I think, sir, I think that you can have a one-to-one conversation and your details, sir. I think it is not the right place to discuss about the price. And there is a question from Sonu Kumar, and this is what is the accuracy level of compared to contact type?
Yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, when you compare the traditional thermocouples, so looking at all the challenges, so we have demonstrated, I think within 5 degrees, and even some locations we have seen less than even 5 degrees. Okay, so we want to quote, let's say 5 degrees. So when you compare two calibrated thermocouples the same time, if you compare our cyclops, once we do the emissivity correction, it is going to give you maximum 5 degrees. For 1000 to 2000 degree range, you will get 5 degree accuracy. But instrument accuracy, if you see, it is going to be 0.5 degree accuracy.
The question from Santosh Deshpande. Can you suggest a model? Is it working presently? Not clear. You may be asking the model. What is you are normally suggesting?
Yeah. If you look at these three models, you can go with the basic by starting with portable Cyclops 055L, and then you can also see when your process improvements, definitely you can able to go for online devices considering the applications. Yes.
There is a question from Ratna Kumar. Difference between 055L versus 055-2F. Maybe he's talking about your model numbers.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Yes, 055L I think was developed, as I mentioned, 15 years product, and then when we started working for particularly this foundry applications and particularly Indian customers, the major question was, or maybe a kind of requirement was coming from operator. They could not able to see the metal continuously. Okay, so then we need to add some protection filters. This is a kind of high comfort filter, so it's called 2F. Okay, filter 2F means double protection to make operator eyes visible or comfortable to get the temperature measurement. That is called 2F. Now this 055L 2F is made as a standard device where you don't need to code 2F. It is by default, it is coming for double protection or high comfort protection. So you don't need to code for. Now I think it is being made as a single product. All Cyclops O55L, which is coming as a comfort filter.
There's a question from two questions from Mr. Veera Vignesh. What is the optimum distance from the liquid metal and where is the accuracy of the measurement is maximum?
Okay, so if you look at again during the presentation I mentioned, so this particular O55L device, optical design is not having any convex or concave, which is not really a focusable. It is always going to travel parallelly from the distance. So the safest distance we are quoting 5 meters, okay, which does not mean that instrument will only operate 5 meters. As I mentioned, the safest distance because considered from the process, okay, because of spillage, a safety perspective, the optics is parallel. So you can go 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter. So we never seen any temperature measurement. As long as the same spot, similar measurement, it is going to be plus or minus 1 degree. Let's say 1 meter measurement at 5 meter measurement, same spot, plus or minus 1 degree you can calculate. Even operator to operator, person to person, it is going to be the same temperature.
Okay, there is one more question. Is whether this battery is rechargeable? I think that you addressed it. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So that over the period of time, we learned from our customer, particularly this sort of consumables. They also consider battery also consumable. So we requested many regions, and then we adopted rechargeable batteries. We supply 4 rechargeable battery with the adapter, so you can use one by one whenever is needed, like 1000 charging cycle times. So let's say one battery recharged, I think it can be used for a couple of days, and each battery 1000 charging cycle, it is like a couple of years, definitely. So yes, we provide rechargeable batteries for this as an optional option.
Mr. Santosh Deshpande, as a continuation of his question, is asking model number for aluminium, I believe.
Yeah, so I will
ask. What is the model number?
Yeah. So we can note down the question, and if you can provide the email address, we are happy to share the details. This model is called Spot AL, SPOT, Spot.
Maybe you can put it in the chat.
Yeah. That's perfect.
And you can also leave your email ID. People can.
Yeah, I can give that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll also move for the next question. There's a question from Navdeep Singh. Land also has a slag detection system. Are there some reference here in India? Any advantage of this over portable or Scott's Pyrometer?
Oh yes, yeah. That I could apply for integrated steel plants. If you see this, the kind of volume we make in Foundry, Navdeep, so it's going to be a secondary steel making basically. So when you go primary, of course, the kind of volume of steel, it is being transferred from converters to ladles. It is going to be 600 ton to anything between 120 ton. So here the volumes are not that much. So where we, of course, yes, we supply the slag detection cameras where it can able to give, while transferring the liquid metal, it can give combination or maybe a percentage of steel and slag, which can be identified, and this can be given for process control. Yes, we can do that. And if you compare these products, where we talk about solutions for integrated steel plants for slag steel detection, which is different, and the products where what we use mainly for temperature measurement, not for a kind of identification of percentage. So this may be more side of integrated steel plant. We have more than 25 systems installed and working in various key account customers, all integrated steel plant. You can say Tata, JSW, so all the locations we have installed.
The question from Zubir: how many hours battery need to be charged? I think you already addressed.
This yes, maybe per day once, and it's more than 1 hour. I think 2 hours is depending on the the model. There are models, and we recommend from our experience, because it's 600 milliampere, it is not going to take more than 1 hour. Yeah.
There's a question from Mr. Mohanty. Sir, what will be the minimum temperature error and the range minimum max for the pyrometer with the liquid metal?
This particular model is inbuilt. So as I mentioned, so the linear temperature accuracy, if you look at 1000 to 2000 degree, so we have a linearizer which is being calibrated all 3 points, let's say 3-point calibrations to stabilize and to provide the accuracy in linear way. So it is going to be even minimum if you talk, as I mentioned, it's 0.5 to 1 degree. And because it has a resolution of 0.1 degree. So it can go up to maximum, okay, plus or minus 3 to 4 or 5 degrees compared to thermocouple. Okay. Otherwise, the instrument accuracy stands, let's say 1 degree.
Okay. There is a question from Mr. Navdeep Singh. And does we have any solution for temperature measurement in copper industries, be it liquid metal or copper rod, bar, wires?
Yes. The devices are slightly the models are going to be different now, but we have a product, we have a proven solution for copper and myself where I did, this industries for bar measurements and even billets and even for, copper BF outlet, we measured the temperatures. Yes, yeah, there are solutions are available. And again, as I mentioned, this combination of products and niche applications, the product is going to be specified and we have a specific algorithm design which can able to support these metal combinations. This way I said, yes, we have aluminum measurement. So we have a special algorithm. It's a multi-wavelength, more than one pyrometer. Imagine you are going to put 5 pyrometers on the same spot, trying to take the temperature measurements by identifying the different emissivity. Emission is coming from the object. We can work out the combination and provide you the consistent measurement. That is a multi-wavelength device. And we have that product and designed for aluminum. And copper is, of course, we have product for similar way, and we can able to give you the mode and it can be useful. Yeah. And even other solid and liquids.
Yeah, there is a question again from Veera Vignesh. So what is the data acquisition and reporting time for every measurement? If in case we have to log the data or display the data, who decides what data to be logged or displayed? The operator or specific algorithm is there?
Okay, so that's a very nice question. So to reiterate on the data transfer capabilities, so instrument has its own way of data logging. It has internal memory which can store instantly, like it's a microseconds. Okay, if you want to take their measurement, once operator just focus, looks through the eye, targets, press the trigger, it takes maybe less than 5 millisecond, let's say, okay, maximum. So it is going to process and store the data, even if you want to put this. And at the same time, while doing this 5 millisecond, so it can transfer the data to the display. So where we are talking about the display distance, from couple of meters to even 30-meter distance, is going to be not more than 5 seconds. So you can update, and the display is connected to the computer, let's say by wire, and it is instant. You don't see any delay, right? So, but again, you have a Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi has connection, etc. Then maybe we are going to see not more than 10 millisecond. Yeah, the 10 millisecond is like absolutely nothing. You can say it's very fast. This way we quoted very fast and reliable measurement. Yeah.
There's a question from Mr. Balaguru Sendil, which is more precise and accurate, diclopes or spot series, if there is a considerable amount of atmospheric dust?
Okay, if you can ask this question, yes, because when you use a portable measurement, yeah, portable measurement can be, like it's a portable, right? So you can hold rigid, how far you can hold rigid, 5 mm of spot can be moved here and there. It's a live measurement. So basically, you will see the change in the temperature. But whereas in the spot, we can make at a fixed location in the spot, and you can able to define the algorithm, maybe average of 1 second, every 1 second, you can apply the time function, take the averaging, super averaging, okay, process window, then it will give you the more consistent way of measurement. If you ask, suppose you want to have a online measurement, and with a little bit more consistent, then yes, of course, spot would be the best one. But again, these two are, commercial, based on the commercial implication, you definitely need to consider.
There is a question from Mr. Narayan. Sluggish and oxidized metal can be measured accurately.
Okay, basically, when you say sluggish or slag or maybe oxidation, yes, based on the various grades from our experience, yes, as soon as the metal, pure metal is exposed to the ambient, because of the oxidation, there may be a slight layers, right? So this always been, kind of challenge. But again, this particular device, while we choosing this 0.55 micrometer, okay, it is very important to choose this kind of wavelength to at least to get the measurement without any interruption. So it can able to read the surface even with the kind of changes on the oxidation layer. We tune the emissivity to match with the subsurface, which is again it is going to be plus or minus 5 degree. We can do it, or otherwise normally they do it like you can just make a small touch up on the metal surface and you can make the surface clear, do the measurement in a second. So it doesn't affect that much because we can compensate this by calibrating to the dip, calibrated dip once in a time.
Yeah, there is one more question from Mr. Ratna Kumar, and for Autopore model and Cyclo 005L, what type of measuring model is good for Autopore model?
For Autopore, again, if you ask me for Autopore, if you go for bottom boring, Cyclops you cannot able to measure even with the 15 years of experience. When I look at the steam, it is always challenging. So because you cannot hold steady for the steam measurement. Yeah. So Autopore for dysametic lines or bottom pouring steam measurement on this spout, we always recommend for online Autopore. That is the best.
I think I would take this as the last question. This is a question from Mr. Anbarasan. External analog output available, sir? He's asking whether we have analog output.
Sandil sir, now your voice was breaking.
Yeah. He's asking whether you have analog output, external analog output is available or not.
Yes. I mentioned there is a 4 to 20 milliampere analog output. Yeah, which can be connected to the PLC, or even you can take, let's say, kind of 2-channel splitter. You can use it for the display. It's like our vendor can able to support. The display vendor can always support.
I think the question is keep on coming. Okay, anyway, I will take this as a final one. Which wavelength is the best suited for liquid metal temperature measurement? Is it 0.55 microns or 1.0 microns?
Okay, so it is very valid question, and so it's a kind of vast topic. When you talk about the wavelength versus radiation and also in the emissivity challenges. Yes, to keep it very simple, I will give you a example. When you talk about lower in terms of wavelength, the error will be lower. Yeah, and of course it can go up to high temperatures. So example, 0.55 micrometer can go 1000 to 2000 degree, example, which is the high range. Yeah, the error will be, let's say, 0.5. When you use 1 micron, again, the temperature spectrum can be a little bit broadened. It can go from 0.7 to 1.1 or 1.2 micrometer. And of course, the temperature range is going to be from 600 to, let's say, 3000. And you can call the error will be 1, 0.5 to 1. This is the difference. But again, so most probably, these two can be a very good complement for these kind of applications. We don't need to really worry about. But 0.55 is made for liquid metals, considering the thermocouple, traditional thermocouple measurements for portable method, we want to deploy with the liquid metal algorithm. So we recommend that model for most of the portable, different locations to have a initial feeling. If you want to replace the thermocouple, to start with portable, then we recommend to move these other models. Again, if you have experience for portable, yes, any applications, other locations for Autopore and spot, it can be implemented immediately.
So Prasad, I think we should have separate Q&A session with you. I think still questions are pouring. Okay.
That's maybe really encouraging, and
that shows your subject is so sound. I will take this as a final one from Ratna Kumar regarding continuous monitor model versus peak hold model, which is good.
Continuous measurement, okay, yeah, this also very valid. Normally, for Foundry applications, as I told you, there are two common measurement methods are applied. One is the liquid metal algorithm, which we designed for specifically to avoid spikes, spurious peak, spikes and metal, coagulation changes. We take 66 readings using this melt master algorithm. But in the peak measurement, so we always consider the peak from that instant. So if you look at for the steam, where you are pouring the steam, peak is very useful. And in the furnace, while in the furnace, we always give this, liquid metal algorithm, mode master.
Okay, I think we should stop. Okay, Mr. Prasad, it's an excellent presentation. I'm sure that the audience who have been presented would have taken a lot of takeaway from your presentations, and we would appreciate the kind of efforts our team has taken to bring our international product to the Indian market. I could see the efforts you put in to bring in the special enclosures or the thermal enclosures or the displays or the software part. I'm personally be happy to associate from ACA Automation with such a technology company. And on behalf of IIF Chennai chapter, we are thanking you for valuable time spent, and all the fellow Foundrymen, we thank you very much for your valuable time. And as I mentioned earlier, we have our Chennai chapter YouTube channel, and this video also will be hosted. I just posted our YouTube channel details in the chat box. I would request you to subscribe the channel so that you get all our updates. And thank you, Mr. Prasad. Thank you, Jagdish, for your valuable time. Thanks for Foundrymen for your valuable time spent with us. And we will expect you to present all our upcoming webinars. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Adil, and thank you all presented today.